Hold on 1 second. Bro.
All right, and we are live.
All right, we're live.
Alexia.
I heard that. There's like a little feedback.
Alexia, you're muted.
Of course I was muted. Anyways, but welcome everyone to the Silence in Between.
Alexia.
I heard that. There's like a little feedback.
Yeah, okay, I just turned it off. Should be working now.
Alexia, you're muted.
All right. Of course I was muted. Anyways, but well, all right.
All right. Do you think it's good now?
All right. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Welcome everyone to the Silence in Between with Michael Uzowuru, presented by NYU's program board, hosted by me, Alexia, Jack, and Sylvie. Today we're honored to host a conversational workshop with the legendary producer and musician, Michael Uzowuru. His production credits start in the early 2010s, but feature some of the biggest names and brightest creatives that the industry has to hold. Michael has worked with the likes of Frank Ocean, Beyoncé, Cohen Abstract, Vince Staples, and more. His work has extended to film and advertising, as Michael has collabed with Apple. If you haven't seen the Welcome Home ad by Spike Jonze that features Michael's production, please go watch it. It's one of the best ads of all time, the 21st century. A huge inspiration for me. We'll talk about that later. And did the score for Donald Glover's short film, Guava Island. Despite all the big names and big placements that make up his career, Michael can come off as a bit mysterious or quiet, except for when he's on Twitter talking about basketball. So today, we're honored to pull the curtains back and speak with Michael about his craft. Happy to have you, Michael.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you.
So I'll start this off with the first question. If you can remember, when did you first come across creativity in your life when you were young? And how did that lead from that moment through your childhood to you becoming a producer?
First moment of creativity. Probably, I don't know, like super early on, like maybe like first or second grade, I used to take like it's gonna sound crazy, but like toilet paper rolls, like once they're like done, and like paper towel rolls, and like make like airplanes and like different things out of them. And I would take like shoe boxes and like create like houses and yeah, like a living room out of them. So yeah, probably back around then. And I feel like I can still feel traces of that same person and that same like mindset in who I am today.
And was there a specific moment that got you into producing?
Yeah, it's actually a kind of a crazy situation. So my friend in high school, Justin Latham, he walked up to me one day and he gave me a CD, and he was like, you know, you're a really big fan of Kanye West, and he makes beats, so you know you should make beats too. And on the CD was a copy of Fruity Loops on an FL Studio, and this is like back in like 2005 ish or so. So when I was like 14, 13, 14, and yeah, that kind of just like changed my life forever.
And since starting on Fruity Loops, how has your process developed upon then? Because, you know, I can imagine when you started, it was a bunch of just toying around on the program, watching tutorials, to now being an established producer. How did you learn to produce, and how did that process change once you got more experience?
This is gonna sound crazy, but when I started making beats, I don't know if there was a YouTube yet. I yeah, so like tutorials, like I don't think that was like really like a thing. You kind of just had to like figure it out on your own. But I think more or less it strangely has kind of stayed the same, where it's like the idea is to take what I have and try to make the best of it. So back then it was like a limited understanding of this production software, and then just trying to like kind of like fake my way through it and kind of like, you know, create my way through it. And I think that that essence is still a lot in what I do now.
Alexia?
Right. So this is actually like kind of something that popped into my head as me, Jack, and Sylvie were speaking earlier. But art is usually like, this rings true for me as someone who's also works in the creative realm and like wants to make a living out of it. But art is usually seen as like an escape or a relaxing hobby to most people. But when something you love, like art, becomes like a livelihood or a job or a source of income, and like all that pressure, there's more pressure involved to kind of succeed or to make something that becomes like commercially successful, I guess. How do you balance the boundary between work and passion to make sure your work doesn't feel like a chore?
Mm, I think sometimes it's gonna feel like a chore. Like I don't know if that's the worst thing ever. There's a bit of like honor in having chores, you know. There's like a bit of honor and some struggle. There's a bit of honor in like, you know, doing things, you know, is it something being a bit of like a labor of love. But like how to create like a healthy balance between those two, I think like it just starts with love and gratitude. I think that'd be my like my go-to, like gratitude, just being really grateful for what it is that you're doing. Intention, knowing why you're doing something. You know, sometimes you have to do difficult things or things you don't want to do, especially when there's like a really wise intention behind it. It kind of like folds itself into what it is that you want to do, and it can remove a bit of strain that comes with, you know, some like laborious thing, I guess.
That is,
Next,
oh, sorry. I was gonna
you
like,
got it, Alexia.
like, that is very true. It's just like with all things you love, like, I think there's never going to be anything that's like truly perfect, that like there's no struggle involved or there's no like sense of, yeah, like you said, like labor or chore. And there is like a beauty in like doing what you love as like a full-time career and a full-time job, just because some people don't get to do that. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some people don't even get to like, let alone like, okay, there's like people who like know what they want to do and know who they want to be, and they actually do it. Then there's people who know what they want to do and know who they want to be, but they don't know how to do it. And then there's people who just have absolutely no idea what they want to do or who they want to be. You know what I mean? And it's just like the fact that like, for me specifically, the fact that I know who I am, what I want to do, what I want to be, and the fact that I get to do that every single day is that keeps me going a lot.
On a follow-up to that, was wondering how your creative process differentiates when you have to work for others as opposed to, you know, just jotting an idea down, the beat or melody that comes into your head, and if that can ever feel like a bit of work, more so on the labor side, as you said. I know that for you, it seems like from an outside perspective that you really only pick people that you care to work with, you know, how specific and focused your work is. So I was wondering if even those that you work with that are friends end up feeling like work or labor, and how your creative process kind of shifts from when you're just working on an idea you have versus an idea that they have or an idea that you have that you think fits them.
Yeah, I don't know if I really feel like there's a dichotomy between what I do for like myself and like what I do with others. It kind of feels like part of the reason, like, I don't know, I'm kind of here on earth is to work with others and to just create things. So it's just like, as long as I can lend myself to good ideas and like good things and great things, I feel like it is for me and it is for someone else, no matter who's involved, you know, and no matter if it's just me or if it's like 30 other people involved or me and like another artist or something. It just kind of feels like the gift is like, the art is, as a producer, for me, the art is the artist seeing their idea through. The art is the artist, you know, being happy with what they have created, and the art is like us coming together and making something that is great.
Right. Kind of going off of that also, since you said that collaboration is such a large part of your work and the relationships you form with the people you're collaborating with. How do those relationships and sessions like take over your life at the time? Like, since creating can be a very personal act, how do you kind of merge both your vision along with the other person's vision?
Yeah, I think it's almost the same thing where it's like something about like something about there being like uh, an understanding between the people working on this thing that we're trying to get to an almost like uh you know an absolute truth of some sort, you know, an absolute like knowing and understanding. So if it kind of makes it hard to like not necessarily have disagreements, but it kind of makes it hard for there to be some sort of like divide, you know. And I typically really like to work with people where it's like we're both trying to do what's best for, like, when it comes to music, we're both trying to do what's best for the song, you know. And if that's the idea, there's really not much space for there to be a divide. There's like, but there's tons of space for there to be like this, like almost like correct answer to something of some sort, you know?
Definitely. And I feel like when you're working with someone for their first time, navigating all of that is a large part of the process. Um, yeah, I was with that question, like regarding that question, I was thinking specifically about Rosalia in mind and your upcoming work with her, just because she's someone that like you're just starting beginning to know and to work with now, or at least like it's becoming known that you're working with her. So yeah, excited to see that happen. But
Yeah, I mean, she's awesome. And it's like the reason why working with someone like that kind of just works so flawlessly is because I think that we both just want the same thing, which is what's best for the song.
And on top of that, how do you pick these people that you work with? Do you see yourself being fans of them before and then just kind of finding yourself in the same place as them? Is it you have to be a friend with them first and then you go to the studio, or do you go to the studio and then develop friendships?
Sometimes they pick me, honestly. Um, and yeah, and some of them start off as friends and some of them became friends, but I think like we just kind of somehow get like attracted to each other. And yeah, I don't know, it's kind of difficult to explain because it kind of happens so differently every single time. But I think for like my favorite like collaborators, the people that I've worked with the most, it just kind of happens naturally and it's not very like forced, and it feels to some degree very necessary, you know. Like there's a reason why we're working, there's a like general cause and like synergy and intention behind it. It's not just like working just to work or just like, you know, befriending each other or collaborating just to collaborate. It feels like, you know, this is something that should happen. And I feel like that's the common denominator through all that I try to work on.
Do you find yourself saying no to a lot of collaborations because they don't meet those criteria, or do you like try and see them out so that they could meet the criteria, if you get what I'm saying?
I say no so much that I feel like I think that people think I'm crazy. Like I think that everybody who works like, I don't know. I just feel like I've made a lot of people unhappy by saying no so much. Um, and yeah, kind of, I feel kind of insecure about how much I've said no. I feel a bit insecure about, you know, how much like I kind of sometimes feel like I'm being carried by like my collaborators and people who I work with, because they're all so like great and of like such like a certain caliber, you know what I mean? Um, that yeah, like I don't know, sometimes it feels kind of bad saying no because it just kind of feels like people just kind of expect it, and just like kind of just self-fulfilling that way.
But
Yeah,
also,
I think the ability to say no is like one of the most powerful things that you can have as an artist, because there's so many positions you can get put in where like financially you might need to do that collaboration, or clout wise you might need to do that collaboration, but the fact that you can say no reflects not only on how much people trust in your work and you're able to find those magic connections, and the fact that you're able to have those people around that that will either come back and look for you when they have an idea that they know that you can fulfill, or you know that you can come in and bring in an idea that will help meet their vision.
Right. I mean, yeah, I think there is power in saying no, but there is a bit of power in saying yeah. And there is a bit of power in kind of knowing how to make things kind of work for you. Um, but obviously, I think the ultimate power is in balance.
So this is a tightly related question to the last one, but just wondering how you view your own work slash career slash musical persona from, like, if you're able to take a step back and take that external perspective, and wondering how you deal with that relationship and insecurities that may come about, because from the outside as fans, like, we'll see your placement on a song and absolutely love it and have no idea what goes into these things, how you think about them, and especially since you can be seen as such like a mysterious figure in the industry, would love to know how you reflect on it because
I
as fans, we
I hate
love
the
every little bit.
I hate the idea of like mysterious. It's so disgusting. Um, I sincerely don't feel like I'm mysterious. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm very much like who I am. And I feel like there's just some people whose like, you know, identity is not rooted in just like kind of spilling everything on the internet about them.
Yeah, we definitely live in an age of social media where you can be seen as mysterious if you're not oversharing every little piece of information.
Right.
So, people will be like, oh, I don't know much about him, but it's like, I see you sharing every opinion you have on Twitter. It seems like that pops into your head.
I
So
mean,
it's,
pretty much, like I feel like what I share is what I felt compelled to share. And it's not like I've ever like really felt like, oh, I want to share this thing, but no, I can't like let them know. It's just like sometimes, I don't have anything in my brain. Really, it's pretty like empty in there sometimes. So like, I don't know. The whole mysterious thing is a bit like I kind of
yeah, I think there's like a large misconception around being mysterious, like being selective in what you say and what you participate in. I don't really think is mysterious. It's just like someone only like leaning into things that they think are like they're attracted to or that they identify with. Like just because you're not like audibly sharing every single detail of your life doesn't mean you're this mysterious, elusive person. It just means just going about your life kind of thing. It's not.
I mean, it's also like sometimes I don't even think to like, share. I don't even think to like post. It's just not really like natural to me. And honestly, like most things, like I think I'll maybe just like text like a friend, or like I'll like put it in my like journal, like I write it like in like the notes app. That's really where like most of my thoughts and like ideas go. Like if I see something crazy or something cool, like I'll most likely just text it to somebody that I love. Like um it's no offense to like people on the internet, but like I don't know, like it's not really the place to put like a lot of ideas. Like, it's kind of wild out there. Um, so yeah, for me, it's a bit not really the thing for me. But there was a part of the question before the mysterious part. I forgot what it was.
it was just about how you view like your musical persona as an artist and how that comes into play with work specifically. I had a later question about that. Let me see. Um, and yeah, just wondering how like the idea of you and your work ties into how you work with others, and if you think people, like, you've ever got caught in a situation where somebody's kind of expecting something from you, like a specific sound or
All the time.
vibe that they want to bring that you may not be feeling at the time. It might have been just like a momentary thing or not. So just wondering how like perception of you dives into your own work.
it's almost like
if at all?
the perception of me is kind of not really my problem. Do you know what I mean? Like all I can do is kind of show up as myself. And I think the best things that I do, the best things that I work on, the things that get the best out of me, they welcome me as I am and not like under some condition or not like they are expecting a certain sound or whatever. You know what I mean? I think there's that like respect and that understanding of me as a person that allows them to get, I guess, the best out of me. Um, and yeah, those are my favorite type of people to work with. I think like you can kind of weed out the people who don't really like work that way easily.
So in terms of your completed work, do you sort of like engage with it like after it's come out? Do you still feel like comfortable like looking at it the same way, or like once you know a bunch of people are hearing it, like how does that change
Sometimes,
your relationship to it?
sometimes, sometimes there's some songs that I still play. There's a good amount of like there's a good amount of them I still play because they're so like near and dear to my heart. Um, that yeah, I don't know. There's a few like on my on repeat on Spotify. There's like a couple in there. I'm not gonna
Yeah, because I know sometimes it can be like, at least like personally, because I paint and stuff, I can feel very like I need to be away from this, or so I don't know if that can be a feeling that you ever struggle with, like if there's something you've worked on, not specifically, but just like have you ever worked on something and been like, I really like can't deal with this anymore?
there are some things that I've worked on that I hate, and I actively try to, moving forward in my life, create less and less of things that make me feel that way. You know, I think for me, my own specific idea and my ideal like situation is that I'm creating things and I'm working on things that I can like live with and I can like look at. It's like almost like a mirror. Like I can like see this mirror of myself and I can live with like who I've created. And
Our
even
next
enjoy like myself, you know, to a certain degree, or enjoy the things that like I've worked on.
So talking about what you enjoy, how do your hobbies and interests outside of music influence your workflow when it comes to music? Like specifically wondering how does your relationship playing like pickup basketball and watching basketball influence your workflow with other people in the studio? And how does that how can you see that change? There's a very vocal point of your personality. How does that influence other portions of your life?
It honestly all feels like the same thing, you know, like basketball, watching basketball, music, art of all types. It just kind of feels like process, intention, um, like hard work. I know that sounds kind of corny or whatever, but yeah, I think that there's like lots of parallels between like anything in life that you want to like accomplish and like um achieve. Um, but yeah, for me, like I think one thing is watching like winning basketball is like a lot like, you know, a great song or like a great album. You know, I think everybody plays their parts. There's not much ego. And if there is ego, it's utilized in ways that help propel everybody forward. But I think just really like roles, process, like, you know, like really like putting yourself in the best position to win, putting yourself in the best position to execute on an idea that has intention.
So
And
something, oh, sorry.
you go ahead, Sylvie.
Related to that, I was just wondering, so I know you've been working on like movie scores and soundtracks and stuff more recently, or like working with films. And I was curious, just like, basketball inspires you in some ways, like what movie, your relationship to movies is, and like what that, and like how that's changed just as you've started to work more on them, or at least publicly.
Oddly, I don't really watch movies like that. Weirdly enough, like there's so many movies I haven't seen. Like I've never seen any Harry Potter. None of them. I haven't seen a single one. Wasn't first of all, I wasn't even allowed to watch that growing up. But yeah, like I don't know, something about like I don't really watch movies like that. But the ones that I do watch, I really like love. There's like a few, like obviously like Ratatouille. It's a
Amazing. No, that's a solid classic.
Excellent movie.
Great movie. There's a few, there's like more serious ones or whatever, but like I can't think of them off the top of my head. But Eraserhead obviously is great. It's cool. Um, yeah, but yeah, movies and me just for some reason we don't like really like. It's a lot to kind of sit there and like watch a whole movie. You know, it's a bit much for me personally.
So I guess if you're not really a big movie watcher, how do you like approach when you're working on music for a movie? Like, how does that change your process? I feel like most people who get involved with movies really like movies.
Yeah, or like anything visual also, like with the HomePod ad, since that was a very like visually based advertisement. It's directed by like Spike Jonze, like a huge director. How do you like kind of merge the gap between the visual and like the sonic, I guess, or music?
It honestly, I know it's going to sound kind of like a platitude, but it doesn't feel very much like different. It doesn't feel like something needs to be merged together. It just kind of just feels like art expression, um, and that being that. But the thing with like how do I do it with like film and stuff? It's like scene by scene by scene, like cue by cue, moment by moment, which is something that I can easily kind of digest and kind of get into, you know, just like really getting into like, okay, what is this scene? How does this feel? How does it make me feel? How do I project that back? And how do I execute on that? And then as far as like commercials and like ads and like ad space, that was actually something that I grew up super into. One of the first like combinations of music and like commercials and like ads was that I really took to was there was this like street ball NBA commercial that the Neptunes did the music for, and it had like Jason Kidd and Steve Nash and like all this stuff, and just the music and the like scenes and like the way it was shot and just like the whole like everything all together was like this really amazing piece that just felt like this one thing. And like whenever I work in that like ad space, it's like I'm always searching for working on things that hopefully make me feel how that made me feel when I was, you know, young.
We got a comment in the YouTube questions, and one that I actually wanted to ask about personally. Somebody was asking about your Instagram lives over the pandemic when you're making beats in the car,
Right.
and if we'd see anything of the songs that were worked on there, and just how, you know, that portion of the pandemic where it seemed like you were pretty active on Instagram or Instagram Live felt.
Right. That was honestly that was a great that was a great like moment in time when I felt compelled to make those beats in my car. Um, I honestly don't remember what was made in the car and what wasn't. So I mean, it might be out, it might, you know, might come out. I'm really not sure. Like honestly, when it comes to like making beats and like making music, it's like I just kind of habitually do it, you know, and they find their places somewhere eventually. So like that was just like letting people like just in on the fact that like I just actively am trying to make beats or like music at all like times. Especially back then, I was trying to make 1,000 ideas by from July to January. So that was like I think I was trying to do like 200 ideas a month or so like that, you know, um, which like broke down to like a whole bunch of beats like a week and then like a bunch every single day. So that was kind of just like within that time where I was just like, since I give myself like these like markers or like these like kind of challenges, you know, like, okay, try to make 50 things in a week or try to make 1,000 things by the end of the year or, you know, whatever it is, kind of like working on the muscle of creating without inspiration.
So it kind of sounds like, I mean, like I'm just wondering personally, like, do you ever feel a need to take a break, or does this like creative process of constantly working just like integrate itself into your daily practice and it doesn't feel like
I
it
take
just sounds like
break.
you work all the time?
I take a well. I mean, yeah. I take breaks all the time, kind of like I don't know. I feel like I haven't made a beat in like maybe like a week or so, like or maybe two. Um, but I think it's like kind of like a muscle. Sometimes you kind of have to like, I don't know, get a massage or like go to the sauna, take an ice bath. Sometimes you kind of have to like rest it a little bit. But like a muscle, you learn to work it and grow it. So, you can kind of deal with fatigue and you can kind of like get stronger, you know what I mean? And have more endurance and like have more function out of this thing with the more that you use it. But also like I just really like making beats. I really like making music. Like it's just what I do. It's like my thing, like
No, that completely makes sense. Yeah, to have that as like part of your daily life because it's so ingrained in like how you move through the world.
yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering up as a follow-up to that. In today's like social media age, and especially as you can pick up being a producer as easy as you can pick up basically any other art form on the internet. How do you balance, you know, while you're working through music, as a passion and as a muscle thing, and figuring out, if you were to, want to release a tape of your own work or just a song by itself, how do you, how often does that come into mind? Do you try and just focus and be like, hey, this is just kind of practice, scratch work, I'm going to work on the muscle and things that will come out of it? Or how often do you kind of contemplate what you should do with your own work, or do you not?
I sometimes I do. Often, honestly, it's kind of scary to think about putting out my own like music again. Um, just like a lot. It's like the reason why I don't really do things kind of like this. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like nerve-wracking and just like I don't know. It's like it doesn't really feel like it's like within my nature to kind of step out like that as much and feel as comfortable doing those things. But you know, um, hopefully, like one day I can like get to the point where I have the right idea or like the right combination of ideas I feel like need to like live outside of my like hard drive. But as far as when I'm creating, like I'm kind of just like just creating just to kind of create a lot of times. When it's just like just me, or like if I just like, link up with like my friend Teo, who's right here. Um Sometimes we'll just like, just kind of just hang out and just like make stuff just for the art and just for the expression of it. Um, and sometimes that feels good enough. You know what I mean? Sometimes it feels like it's meditation more than like something else. Just kind of just feels like it's just meditation, habitual. It's just like I just do it, and those things sometimes find their way places and like come out and or like get used or like inspire like another idea. But sometimes I feel like the power of it is more about the fact that it was created.
We actually also have somebody in the YouTube comments asking about Teo and how you got started working together and your synergy.
Um, shoot, man.
You let him run it.
Well, hello. um, Basically, I was a big fan of Michael's from Twitter, and I just started making music on my own. And I met other kids on Twitter who like produced, and my beats kind of sucked. And then just by kind of chance, I met Michael, and then I was just kind of enamored by like the way he looked at music, because everybody else before that I had met, kind of music was just like, oh, you make beats and that's that. And then Michael was like, so what are we trying to accomplish? And it was all about intention. And so I was like, can I intern for you? And he was like, no. And I was like crushed, because I'm like, damn. He's like, I don't need an intern. He's like, just hang around. Like, you don't need.
I didn't want anybody under me. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to feel like I was above anybody. So it was just like, just come hang out with me and just be around.
And I learned so much. And
but I also feel like I learned a lot from Teo too.
we definitely like, I don't know, it's a great synergy. This guy's being humble, but he's truly like, let me say this. He's
oh boy,
he's one of the greatest.
This is not what we're doing right now. All right.
Anyway.
Thank you.
I guess this kind of flows into the next question, but using like when you're making something or like any sort of active creation, you can like look at reference points or influences. even if it's like intentional or non-intentional. But in music, some artists like to eliminate influences when working on something original, while others like thrive off of using influences, and those influences can be like your friends, your family, like people who are close to you, like Teo probably. But how do your influences like manifest in your work, even if it's intentional or not?
There there's so much of the work, it's like so much of you, so much of me. I feel like your influences become like your sensibilities, the things that you listen to growing up, the things you listen to now, the things that you experienced, the ways that they made you feel. um, and I think that they're like, if I am inspired by something or if I am influenced by something, it's through the lens of which I perceive it. So it's always me.
We've got a couple comments and had people specifically asking if you could speak about if you've ever been to Lagos. And what was the comment specifically here? Just asking about your Nigerian heritage and if it's influenced your music at all.
Oh, so much. Like my earliest musical experiences and memories have been tied to Nigerian music and just like really like just my Igbo background and my heritage. Um, it just is who I am, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like strange sometimes when people ask me about how something which I am influences what I am. It's like it almost kind of doesn't make sense because it's just like I am what I am because I am that, not because of like I am something because I'm like inspired by it. If that makes any sense, or like I am like uh influenced by it. I am Nigerian, I am Igbo, and that is just what it is, and that is always like, so that always is is always represented in my music because I am that.
They were wondering what you grew up listening to as well.
What I grew up like as far as like anything.
I think they were specifically referring to Nigerian, but we can branch it off and
Oh, like, obviously fella, like, but my mom would play tons of like Christian, like Igbo music, like Agatha Moses, you know what I mean? Like some real like praise like songs. Like she wasn't really like listening to like all this like riff raff out here. She was like, she's really about her, this Jesus life.
got another YouTube comment asking, how does having a publishing deal help push you as a producer to reach artists you would like to collaborate with?
Has it helped push me? I'm lucky because my publisher is amazing. And they really like have my back and really understand what it is that I'm trying to do. Um, it's like, I think a lot of times people see something like a publisher or like A&Rs or management or just, even collaborators, and it's about what they can do to get you somewhere else. But sometimes it's less about that and it's more about having somebody on your team and someone that you can talk to and someone that you can like, be around, who allows you to be more of yourself. You know what I mean? So sometimes their biggest like strength and the biggest thing that they do for me is not about who they like put me in contact with, but it's like, you know, allowing me in multiple ways, one way or another, to be more of myself, or, have the resources to execute things that I have going on for myself or the artist that I'm working with in the moment.
And tying back to basketball, was wondering how in the studio does bringing other producers influence your own work? Like, like if a team is to go like too big or too small and, it'll completely throw off the rotation. Do you feel that there's any like specific additions to the studio or subtractions to the studio that help you either focus more or bring out something else in you?
Personalities. Just got to be a good like mix of personalities, a good mix of people who understand what they're working on, why they're working on it. And I think the artist comes first, so if I am to bring another producer into the studio, like I think I have to feel like they're going to add something, you know, and that being the only barometer, like that's the only thing that really matters. Do you add, does this work? Does this make sense? If that's the yes, then it's like, okay, cool, it's all good. Nothing else kind of really matters.
In terms of things that work for you when you're working with someone or in the midst of the creative process, is there anything like in the beginning stage of a project that you think is unique or specific to how you specifically work or to your creative process?
Ask that one more time. Sorry.
No, my bad. I talk really fast. But is when you're working with others or with yourself, is there anything within like the beginning stages of a project assembling that is unique or specific to you, that's something that you kind of make sure to do whenever you're working on a project, or is it just whatever comes up is like what works?
I don't know how unique it is to me, but I do know that from like for like me, when I'm working on the beginning of something or like I'm just starting something, I try to get to know and understand like what we're trying to do, even if it's like, even if it's the fact that we don't know what we're trying to do and we're just like kind of trying to figure out eventually, like even just knowing that's good enough. But I think just talking to the people I'm working with, typically like talking to the artist or an artist, and just kind of just seeing where their head is at, seeing how they want to feel, seeing what their intentions are, and just kind of going from there.
And when it comes to your career, do you think there's any specific like stones that you haven't turned yet, or goals that you have for yourself specifically that you haven't met yet that you could share? Or how do you feel in this point about things that you still want to pursue
I mean,
specifically?
obviously, I haven't done everything that there is to do. Um, and I mean, it'd be kind of scary if I was like 100% felt like I did everything that I could do and that I wanted to do. I think it changes every single day. I think it's, every day you kind of wake up, every single year you change, every moment you change, every week you change, and you just kind of like learn more about yourself. You learn more about the world. You learn more about what matters to you. Like sometimes, there was points and times where it was about money or like accolades or like working with this artist or that artist, and in ways it's changed. And I think that it's, it's good to have like, I think for me, it's like, I don't focus too much like on like specifics. I think I just like want to feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's always my number one. And if that means like, I drop everything and I become a teacher, then like that's my calling and that's what I'm doing. But like when it gets a little bit too rigid for someone like me, I feel like it's easy to kind of like lose your way when it becomes about like, you know, you got to do this thing by that time or whatever. I think for me, it's just about like emotions, how I feel, how my days are going, how do I feel about my days? Do my days feel like they're my own, or do they feel like they're someone else's? Am I working with people I love? Am I inspiring people? Am I doing like work that feels necessary? Am I, you know, uh, doing the things with my day that I, want to? And sometimes that comes down to monetary things. Sometimes that has to do with, money, being able to like, you know, have the resources to do some of these things. But sometimes it's perspective outside of that as well.
And looking back on your career so far, do you have any, if you could share any specific, like most fulfilling moments or things that, helped match what you feel your purpose is, as you were kind of talking about in that last answer? If there's any, specifics that you can share, or songs or albums or sessions.
I don't know. I don't really think about it like that. I don't really think about it much, honestly. Kind of try to look forward and not look back too much. Like I can reference things that I feel like were like smart, or like those are like, good things to work on. But I don't know if there's anything like that sits at top of like a mountain or anything. I just like the person I am, and just like the way that I kind of tick, it's just kind of keep it moving. and not take yourself too seriously to the point where like you're just like living in the past.
And I was wondering, as social media has kind of taken over the music sphere as we know it, how, you know, songs of yours that have gotten leaked, or, you know, songs that you have friends that produced on that leaked, and how you kind of feel about how leak culture is impacting the music scene right now, and your perspective on it as a producer.
It's almost like, it was weird. For a minute, I kind of felt like leaks were kind of like not a thing of the past, but like I remember like when people would put out an album, it would always like leak like the week before or whatever. And then like things moved to like being more digital. And then like leaks kind of were like not really a thing, you know what I mean? And then like the hackers just started going crazy. Like really hats off, honestly, because they really kind of leveled up. Um yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy how well they're doing at this right now. Um, Leaking stuff, I don't know. I think people who leak stuff things are obviously pretty toxic people. Bad vibes, really, really, really bad vibes. Super selfish, not cool. And I don't know, I feel bad for anybody who has to deal with that, because it's like, you know, you work so hard. For some people too, I don't think people realize, like, I don't know, like if you're some young producer and this is like your first big shot and then the song leaks, it may never officially come out. And you know what I mean? Like you just kind of like lost like something that could have been really good for you and like your career or even just your livelihood. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of whack. And as far as for me, like I haven't really had much leak. Only like like one or two things have like leaked before like they've been released, but there's been a few things I've seen that have leaked like older versions of things after they've come out, and it's just like people are just thirsty. That's all I can really say. People are just thirsty.
Tying into the being thirsty, do you find yourself as a fan of other musicians ever listening to leaks, or do you find yourself morally like so against it that you try and
Why would you ask me that? Look, if it's on YouTube, I'm gonna listen to it. The leak is a happening of the universe, whereas the leaker is the deviant one. You know what I mean? We gotta focus on the leakers, not the people who listen to the leaks.
That's not the important thing.
That's not the important thing. The leaker is the felon here.
Once it gets leaked, it's open season.
Right.
very true. And in the same aspect, kind of, how do you feel about works of yours and collaborations that don't see the light of day? Do you try and leave them in the past, or do you have any couple ones that like you'll come across it and still feel a feeling or a way about it not seeing the light of day?
I mean, sometimes they eventually come out. But also sometimes, I don't know, man, like it served its purpose one way or another. Obviously it sucks when like things don't come out or they don't come out when you want it to, but that's a very like me centric thing. That's a very like kind of self-centered way to see it. And if I'm working with an artist, to a certain degree, you really have to respect the fact that they are putting their face on something, they're putting their name on something, and high risk, high rewards, but it's like a pretty high risk for them as well. So if like things don't, pan out, it's not going to really affect me in that same way. So, there has to be like a certain level of like empathy for an artist who decides they don't want to release something or whatever they choose to do with, art that, has their like likeness and like their voice that's super intimate on it. So you kind of have to just kind of go with it. But I think for me, I just try to put myself in a position where no one song can like make or break me, you know? So like if it doesn't come out, like I just want to know that I put myself in a position to where I'm happy and I'm good and I'm fulfilled in all aspects of like my life and my career, regardless of if that song comes out or not. I have something else to look forward to. I have something else that's out that's doing well. or I'm working on something else that like really inspires me. So like I don't have to bring that kind of like toxic like energy to the artist and make them feel like they need to put something out because I need that out, you know, or I need it for myself in my life. You know, you really want to like you really want to make an artist feel like this is about the art and nothing else.
Right. Like in terms of making, oh, sorry, Sylvie, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that someone in the chat asked about you tweeting sometimes about wanting to become a teacher and what subject you would teach. And I thought that was interesting related to like alternative life paths and sort of just like doing what's important for you and the artist and mental health and etc.
I feel like I was supposed to be a teacher. I'm not supposed to be doing this. Like, like I feel like, I mean, and it's funny because I joke and I say that, but it seems as if to some degree, I am some sort of teacher, you know, I am some sort of like counselor or like some form of like, you know, some of those type of things. Um, but I do have like a desire one day to like hopefully, I don't know, be a teacher. It'd be nice. Like it just, you know, it just seems like something just like that's just like in my bag.
No, yeah, I think it's interesting because a lot of times, you know, colleges will like let people who have an impressive background, which you happen to have, like become sort of like a professor and teach in that way without necessarily having that like academia background. So I think that's like a very exciting thing potentially in the future. Who knows?
Honorary doctorate incoming.
Oh, I need that as well. I need the honorary degree 100%. Need that. I need to have a course one day, or you know, I don't know. I would love to teach. I would love to like share knowledge. But really more than that, I would just love to be in a space where there are students and people who are younger than me who I have the chance to like inquire about what they need in their life and what and I have the chance to try to hopefully help them crack the code on like figuring some things out. That's really like the thing, you know, trying to understand what is it that they need or what is it that they want, and then working with them and giving them the tools to learn that or to figure that out.
Oh, that completely makes sense. Sorry, Alexia, I think you're going to say something.
No, you're good. But anyways, this is our last question until we start to go into the workshop portion of the event. But Michael, final question. Who would be in your dream studio session, like a dream blunt rotation? And this goes for like visually, sonically, just like who do you want in the studio? Who do you want next to you? Just like doing whatever.
Studio. It's just me and Steph Curry.
No Clay love?
Nah, Clay can be there, you know what I mean? But it's like, nah, Clay's for sure in there.
Clay's got to have the sunglasses sitting in the corner.
Him and Rocco, it's gonna, you know, I think that's ideal. That's ideal for me right there.
Are you able to, do any of the Warriors know your music? Have you interacted with any of the Warriors? Do they know that you're a fan?
Maybe. I'm not sure. Who knows? You never know who knows whatever these days. The internet's such like a big place that everything is rubbing up against everything. It'd be cool though. That'd be awesome.
Do you have any music right now that you're listening to that's exciting or inspiring that you'd like to share?
Let me look at my on repeat on Spotify.
So it sounds like you won't be sharing your Spotify Wrapped with everybody once that.
Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not. Okay, let's see. I've been listening to The Highways of My Life by the Isley Brothers a lot. I'm listening to Damn a lot by Kendrick. That Doja Cat song, Get Into It, great. That Adele song, To Be Loved, oh my gosh, amazing. Mafia by Travis Scott. Yeah, that's like Some of like the top stuff, probably. Deep Pockets by Drake. Love that song. Absolutely love that song. Leather and Lace by Stevie Nicks.
Hmm.
Yeah. But that Doja Cat, that's probably my like favorite song right now. On repeat all the time.
All right, we just let the students know, so we'll have them start to join now. Here we go. We got Steven.
What's up, Steven?
Yo, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Yo, what's good? My name is Steven. I'm a visual artist, musician. I make music under the name Kevin Electra, and I really appreciate you taking the time to, share your thoughts on things, and your production definitely influenced the sound that I try to achieve whenever I make beats and music and stuff. So I gotta appreciate you for that.
Oh man, thank you. Thank you for seeing that in me. I appreciate that.
Of course. Should I just share the?
Yeah, you can share
Yeah.
screen.
All right, word. Yeah. So I guess the piece that I'm about to share is a music video for a song that I made called Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon. It's off an EP that I'm dropping next month.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Sunshine on my black skin, feeling so perfect. Days kicking on, compounded interest. Trying to take some days back like I'm in debt. Trying to find my own ways, wanna turn the field left. Who better than me? I'm taking on bets. Got loose, giving time to self-reflect.
Spotlight on me, whoa, feeling this every week. Hey, the Truman Show on TV. Okay. I think I'm in way too deep. Feeling trapped, I'm not free. Feeling trapped, I'm not free. I promise I'm not too geek. Whoa, I see colors every week. Hey, this my spaceship and I'm in control. Finding new places and can't trust the soul. Dreaming euphoria, souls ain't sold. Low tech euphoria, feeling so cold. My forces around me escape on the broom. This is that wave on the way to the moon. All I see in the future is doom. I gotta step in and change it, stay tuned. Like Brady Soldier, Sailor Moon. Take me out this hell, I hope you calling soon. Shining so bright, I feel brighter than Beetlejuice. I know more niggas way past the 3rd Avenue. This is a product of my growing revenue. Okay, relax. My flow like laser, cause that's what real niggas do. I'm not your average dude, run up the revenue. What's your cash at? Know that the rent is due. I got time today, a fact. Whoa, yeah, post on the feed, the instant gratification you need. For some reason, it's important to see. Unlock the freedom, have some impede. Gotta say it, man to man. Watch it back, trust no one. You think you're shit, but you're not done. I don't think I'm having fun. Running my memory helps a ton. No one around, I'm out of luck. I don't know how to give a fuck. Need some energy, lightning struck. I don't ever wanna pull the plug. Supplying it like I'm selling drugs. Euphoria, nothing between us. I'm treating life like love to love. Spotlight on me, whoa, feeling this every week. The Truman Show on TV. I think I'm in way too deep. Feeling trapped, I'm not free. Feeling trapped, I'm not free. I promise I'm not too geek. I see colors every week. Hey, feeling like Brady Soldier, Sailor Moon. Take me out this hell, I hope you calling soon.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing
Thank
these.
you. First, can you see me?
Yeah, we can see you now.
Yeah, we can see you.
Nowhere.
No, thank you. I never share my music like that, so it was awkward, but I'm glad I did that.
It's tough
Yeah.
to share, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'd feel proud about that if I was you. That was awesome.
Thank
What
you,
was the
man.
process like doing that?
As far as like the video or the music?
I think more the video, honestly.
Yeah, like I definitely wanted to make the video kind of have like a trapped feel. Like I'm like trapped in like a TV or something. That's why like I just chose a white background. And like that's like all you see is just me and like a chair, like the white background.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like all the videos for the EP have like the black and white aesthetic.
And then like kind of like the film grain you chose, like
Yeah.
Was there any specific intention behind that as well?
I kind of wanted like the rollout or like I guess the overall concept of the project to have like a movie feel. That's why there's like a top and bottom black bars with it as well.
Got you, got you. Then you also had the instant gratification bar in there.
Yeah, of course, of course. That definitely is that's an inspiration for sure, like social media and stuff like that.
Are you big on social media? Like, do you like going on like a lot? Do you feel like you're like battling like the tug and pull of it, or are you like kind of anti it?
It's like weird because I'm very self-aware with my addiction with social media and like being on like screens and stuff, but at the same time it's like I could it's really useful, you know, but it's always good to take a break from it and like just acknowledge that, you know, it could be really harmful to like your brain.
Yeah. How tall are you, by the way?
I'm 5'10".
You're 5'10"? You looking like you were like 6'3" in that video. I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna say, man.
Oh, because I had my friend on the ladder. He was like he was on a tall ladder.
Got you. So you're lying.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for sharing that. That was awesome. I like the song.
No, thank you.
The video all went together really well.
No, thank you so much. I have a few questions for you actually.
Oh, run it.
I guess like what's the best advice that you've gotten like throughout your career? Like what's one that like you reflect on the most?
Oof. Best advice. Maybe like create now, worry later. You know, kind of just like focus on like what you're making, and then you kind of just like figure out the rest of what it is and what it isn't kind of later.
It's like not like worrying about like the future of like what you're making, just make it, put it out and see what happens.
Well, I don't know about the put it out and see what happens part. Yeah. There could be a little bit of intention to that, but really just make it, you know, make what you're making, do what you're doing. And, you know, maybe you might make a song and you don't know what to do with it. You don't know how to finish it or when to put it out. And maybe, you know, a month later, you'll understand the context, or, you know, there'll be an opportunity that it presents itself for the perfect space for that piece of art, or you'll make something else and you'll understand that those two things can like maybe live together, or you'll make something else and you'll understand like, oh, this is what I can do to finish this thing now that I have this new knowledge or these new perspectives. So it's just kind of like, you know, don't get too caught up in like what something is or isn't while you're creating it, and kind of just let it be what it is.
That's really true. And like that kind of leads into my next question. Like, do you have a key to being consistent in your work?
The key to being consistent in my work. Consistency. I don't know if I have a key to being consistent in my work. I really don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I think it's like quality control, like having some like semblance of a backbone. I don't know. Something.
Yeah, I get that. And I have another one. How many questions do I have?
Yeah, it's like 2 more.
All right, cool. So I know like throughout your career, like you always had like a atmospheric kind of sound to your beats and stuff, like from the Winter in Prague with Vince, to like stuff like American Boyfriend, where like you kind of went into like a more cinematic approach. So I was wondering like what was like the progression like of that sound? Did it happen like naturally, or was there like any intention?
I think it happened naturally because I've been lucky enough to work with people, especially like someone like a Vince, who really just like, you can tell that they love you for who you are, you know what I mean? And, you know, when you work with these people like who allow you to like I think like a lot of times like people kind of see like producers as like someone who's pushing an artist, but you know, I think really great artists also push the people that they work with as well, and they really put you in position to be more of yourself. And I would say with those 2 albums that you referenced, I think that they just put me in position to be more of myself.
So like, I guess if you're like working with artists, do you kind of like conform to like their sound, or like do you work with their sound along with pushing your sound with it, kind of like a mixture?
And there's no conforming. It's like that's the beauty of working that way. It's like there's this just understanding, and there's this like respect to get to a specific place. So when you work on something, it's always going to sound like you because you did it. You know, you can never really actually take that away.
Mm.
So when you're working within someone else's sound, I guess, if you want to look at it that way, it's always going to have a bit of you in it. And I think that's the beauty. And like the art is sometimes not even so much what you're making, but what you're allowing to be made.
Awesome, thank you. And my last question is, what are the most helpful things that you've done to get your name out there?
I don't know if I've ever tried to get my name out there. I think it just kind of just like, I don't know. I think a while ago I realized that like, whether my name was out there or not, I think I was always gonna end up working with people that I needed to be working with, because it was less about like some like marketing strategy or like getting my name out there. Cause I'm not really like, you know, I don't really like put stuff out like that. You know, I'm someone who collaborates with like artists, and I'm a producer mainly. So for me, it's about relationships first, you know, rapport, and just like putting myself in a position where the things that I feel like need to be attracted to me will be attracted to me.
Thank you, thank you. Once again, thank you
I
for
don't
your
know if
time.
that's really helpful to you.
Nah, like I
artist.
definitely understand that. No, I definitely understand that. You know, like relationships are definitely important.
Relationships are super important, and also just like knowing yourself and knowing,
Yeah.
trying to put yourself in situations that are, you know, are like conducive to your growth and conducive to you doing and being the best version of yourself. And I think if you focus on that, you'd be surprised like how applicable that is and how many places that can really take you.
No, that's definitely helpful. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Steven.
No problem.
Who's the next one?
Alexia, do we have them queued up?
I'm checking. Jack, do you have the folder open?
Yeah, 1 second. I'm sending them the link again. Hey, Miles.
Oh, hey, what's up?
My man Miles said, "Oh, hey, what's up?" Like he did.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah, there were a lot of different things I kind of wanted to share. I don't really know where to start. I guess the infrastructure. Wait, continue.
Alphabetical order. Easy.
Alphabetical order. Okay. Sure. Well, my name is Miles. I'm a visual artist, director, writer, kind of do a little bit of everything, trying. I'll share some of my visual art real quick. Let me do the screen
For those
share.
that don't know, Miles did the graphic for this event, which came out incredibly sick. So he killed
I
it.
appreciate that.
That's Miles.
Miles, by the way.
No, let me just, what was that?
I said thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem. It was an honor. Gonna try to share this. Let me move this. So this is just like kind of a collage of all my stuff. Can you guys see this?
No.
Oh, damn. Let me try.
Do you hit screen share?
Wait a second. I forgot to hit share. This is kind of a messy collage of some of my stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Visual art is weird because I feel like it's something I've been doing the longest and most comfortable with, but I kind of am trying more to develop my style. In the past, I kind of started with like fan art and stuff.
Mhm.
So I was just wondering where to go forward. But yeah, as you can see, I do dibble and dabble with a lot of different mediums. I'm just wondering what's your what was your process in kind of finding your style? I know it's a different medium, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a different medium, but I think it all kind of like roots back to self. You know, I don't know how much time you spend with yourself. I don't know like what your relationship with yourself is like, but I feel like there's something to gain from being more in tune with who you are as an artist. Um, that'd be yeah, where I feel like you should maybe start. But I mean, this stuff looks beautiful. It looks great. It looks like you have a style. It looks like you have a thing going on. And I know you called it fan art, but I don't necessarily think that that's any different than any type of art. You know, if these are how you perceive these people, and this is you projecting that perception back to us, I feel like that's very artistic in and of itself. And if that's what you feel drawn to, I feel like that's super valid. And I feel like whatever it is that you feel like drawn to do, I feel like that should be the valid thing. I don't think that there is anything that's more or less you or isn't you. If you're doing it, I feel like it's you. And if you're happy about it and you feel compelled about it, then I feel like that's the only thing, like, so I would just, ask yourself, like, do you feel conviction in the things that you're doing? If you do, then I feel like that's what you should be doing.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, but with my art, I don't know, recently it just feels like the visual arts aspect has been kind of just like me projecting like images and like visuals that other people have kind of created.
Mhm.
And it feels like I'm kind of like at a plateau, like kind of like this strange place of, I don't know how to explain it, but just like, I can't think of the word. It's like I'm at a crossroads trying to figure it out. And so I've been kind of experienced, wait, continue?
No, sorry, I was just gonna say, that's a great place to be, honestly. Like, when you start feeling like kind of antsy and like you're not doing enough, like even sometimes like a little bit of like insecurity really means like you're like ready to like grow, and it means that you're ready to like go more towards what is for you. And I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing to feel. I think it's actually a really great thing to feel, because it feels like that there's more that you want to do and you're aware of that. Whereas a lot of people have no idea that they want to do more. A lot of people are very, smug and happy and comfortable with where they're at. So the fact that you're feeling like you're at a crossroads is honestly really telling and really positive, and something that you should really like tap into and really like sit with and figure out, how to get out of that crossroads. So when you do create something, you'll know like, oh, this doesn't feel like that crossroad anymore, and you'll know that this is like something that's pushing you out of that crossroads, either backwards or forward or, side to side, whatever. But at least like you're not where you were before.
Thank you. Yeah, and I feel like something that's kind of helping me get out of like this weird place is I've been trying to like experiment with different types of art. Like recently I've been trying to get into like filmmaking and stuff. I'm still like not super, I'm still really new at it. So I'm not really in the position where I felt like I'm ready to show the world. But I do feel like I'm able to like more accurately portray like what is going on in my head through that medium. So but I don't want to like leave visual art behind. I'm trying to find a way to kind of incorporate the both of them.
Yeah. Of course. I think that's like that's the sweet spot when you start doing things that feel more and more like you, and you kind of like start to bring together different parts of yourself into this one thing, But also the newness of like your new medium that you're working in is also a blessing, because I think within newness you can, find yourself, find new parts of yourself, find new perspectives, new anything, new everything.
Thank you, appreciate that. Jack, how much time do we have left?
You can ask one more question, one or two more questions, and then we can go.
Yeah, I forgot what I was about to say. But yeah, this has been really helpful. I appreciate that. And yeah, I'll carry these words with me. I'm ready. Declan. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. I appreciate that.
It was nice
Thank you so much, Miles.
talking to you.
Nice talking to you too. Also, I love your work. I
Oh,
absolutely love your work.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
I'm gonna stop sharing.
Who we got next? We got
Declan.
Declan. Yeah. Hello. So I'm Declan. Yeah. I'm gonna be sharing a song. There's no video because I did write the song yesterday, sort of after
Fresh.
yeah, I sort of after like I was in the dining hall and I was listening to the song that's sampled. I was listening to a night chord because I don't know why, but I was just like doing that, and then I had to like run home because I was like wait, because I was writing a different song, and then I thought that song was gonna transform into this one, but it didn't. So I just scrapped the other one and I wrote this one, but it's not done. And I want to be like, it's just a demo. Production's not finished. Vocals ain't finished. Lyric, but I just, it's very
all the disclaimers right now.
Yeah, you're right. But sharing music's sort of a horrifying experience. So
it can be.
Yeah.
Not always.
So yeah, I'm gonna just share. I don't think I'm gonna share my screen. I'm just gonna share audio because there's no visual. Is that fine?
It's good with me.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let me do that. Share sound. All right, cool. And if I could just get a thumbs up when it's playing, just if people hear it.
I saw you too inside of my dreams. Again, can only cry when I start sleeping. Again, I'm waking up and I stop sobbing. Again, it's been too long since I saw my siblings. When we lost Dad, you said it would be okay. You made a promise, and you take it to your grave. And one day, you'll take a walk down to your house to meet your kids. One day, I can't take it anymore. I can't take much more. I can't take it anymore. I can't take much more. And I'm alone, losing down. Only words I've ever known. Who I am, who I'm not, who I wanna be. No way to know how long it will be next to me. One day, I'll take a walk down to Midway and tell our kids about how great this is. And one day, I'll take a walk down to your grave and we'll tell our kids about I can't take it anymore. I can't take much more. I can't take it anymore. I can't take much more. I can't take much more.
Awesome. I like your use of disruptive and atonal sounds in the backgrounds of your melodic chords and all the singing stuff like that. That was really awesome. Thank you
Appreciate
for
it.
sharing that. Thank you so much. How do you feel after playing that?
I don't I don't know. I sort of there's I guess I'm the process that sort of always caught in is like I, I never I don't like finishing demos and I never do it quickly. And like I write poetry too, and I never like taking it out of my notebook because it feels like you're sort of like losing a form of something about it. Like there's something about it being in here or the song being here or just as like an FLP that like makes it feel, I don't know. And I don't think that the meaning of the song was super clear, but I don't think I've ever shared anything that was that honest.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
I don't think the meaning of a song has to be clear. Because like honestly, like if we're talking about honest music, sometimes like the truth is that there is no clarity to what we feel. Do you know what I mean? And that is a representation of what you feel. So that is the art. So that was cool. Yeah, it felt super honest. It felt like super honest, which is something I probably couldn't get up here and play something like that. But that's great. And you said FLP, so you made that in Free Loops.
Yeah, I wanted to play drums live, but I just got home today for Thanksgiving because the drums are like the only instrument that I'm like actually good at, but I couldn't, so I had to use like the stock drums, but just mess around with them.
Are you in the library right now?
Huh?
Where are you?
Oh no, this is my house. This is the office. Like this is my
books, man.
Yeah, my dad had a lot of books, and my mom has a lot of books.
You read any of those?
I read a lot of the books that I have in my backpack, but a couple. Yeah, actually, probably this like shelf and all of these I've read.
That's impressive.
Thank you. I actually had a question. Sort of like, I don't know. I guess all of them are sort of about the process of opening up, right? Because that's something that's so difficult, especially artistically. And, I am somebody that gets really nervous and have a lot of problems opening up. And I'm wondering if I don't know if it will ever get easier, but I wonder if there's a way to feel more comfortable. Like this is like, cause your music very much is you, right? And like to feel confident enough to show that and be like, this is me and I want this to be shown and I want you to listen to it, because I feel like that's so difficult to do. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I feel like that's low-key not even like a musical question. It's like almost like a personal one, which is great because it all kind of ties back to itself. But it's like I think that like maybe it never gets easier. It doesn't get easier for me, and I don't think it gets easier for most people. I think like that's kind of like there's a little bit of that's where some of the beauty comes from, because it's like the fact that you like had this like experience of this like emotion and you somehow found a way to articulate it, and you were brave enough to like let it go and let it out. You know what I mean? That's kind of a thing that draws a lot of people in, because when you kind of just speak to like that human experience or like that whatever it is that you've experienced, I think that it people can feel that. You know what I mean? Probably what's drawn you to whatever music that you like, that's probably inspired you to make music like this. I don't think those things were easy for those people to say or to feel and then to put out and then like have people listen to it and experience it as well.
Yeah, maybe it's just we're looking for the easier answer, but there's not one. But that was really my only question. So I appreciate listening and everything. Thank you.
Oh no, thank you so much for sharing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
All right, bye.
All right, so that's it for the ones we were able to get in on this call. So thank you everyone for attending. This was NYU Program Board, and the great Michael, and Teo was in the background for a little bit of it. So Michael, we want to thank you on behalf of NYU and Program Board and everybody watching. This was such an inspiration. This was a great meditative talk, and very thankful for your time.
Oh man, thank you guys so much for even just having me. I really appreciate you guys.
Of course, this was incredible. Thank you so much for giving us your time and taking your time to talk to us. Really, this is incredible.
Awesome. Thank you guys. All right, well, talk to you guys soon.
Thank you. See you.
All right, bye.